6 minutes, please.
Well, I would like to reinforce what Murdo Fraser just said to the Deputy First Minister. The whole reason why the Scottish Conservatives have brought this motion to Parliament today is because it is a very serious situation, and it requires. And I did hear a former colleague, now appearing in a different place, say that we should have an adult conversation. Well, we should have an adult conversation, but in all honesty, could the Deputy First Minister or Mr McKee possibly think that the speeches we heard from their backbenches this afternoon were serious? They were hardly serious at all. They were like a stand-up routine, practically unhinged in the way that they conducted themselves and the argument that they were putting before the chamber. And, you know, one of the most remarkable speeches that we heard today, there have been a number from this side of the chamber, was from Liz Smith, and I particularly liked her Fact 6. Fact 6 was that the business community know exactly how they feel about how the Scottish Government is managing our public finances. But she talked about facts. And I think it's a well-known phrase of Burns, which is oft repeated from various places in this chamber. Facts are chiels that one a ding. And that's the whole problem for the SNP in this debate. The facts are the facts. Criticising, for example, the Kerr's report. It's the Scottish Government that produced the report. It's their own government that says what it says. And these are the facts that can't be argued away. There was hardly a few seconds into the debate before Minister McKee was on his feet contesting something that Murdo Fraser has said. But I think it might be a good exercise for Minister McKee and for all of the Scottish ministers that every morning when they get up, they look in the bathroom mirror and they repeat to themselves 10 times, the facts are chiels that one a ding. Because no matter how often you stand up and defy the facts will remain. You move yourself to any position you like, any fantasy you wish to entertain, but the facts are the facts. And by the way, while I'm on the theme of facts, let me address directly a comment that was made by Kevin Stewart. Kevin Stewart said the people of Scotland, the majority of the people of Scotland who do not want to break up the United Kingdom are too stupid. Too stupid. I think we should have that clipped and put on social media 24 hours a day. Well, I'll tell you what, the people of Scotland are not too stupid. And they know a good deal when they see it. And being part of the United Kingdom is a very good deal for Scotland, and I'm very proud of that fact. Now, the reality is that, by the way, we're not banning women from having children. And I've never heard such nonsense. I mean, that speech needs to be fed through some AI somewhere to find out where there's any logic or reason in it. And I can tell him for a fact that, frankly, his idea that we should be shameful or ashamed is far from the truth. And then, of course, well, for entertainment purposes and no other reason, yes.
Kevin Stewart.
Mr Kerr is proud of the Union. Is he proud of the £41,572.17 of debt for every single man, woman and child that has been put in play by his beloved Westminster and the Union?
Stephen Kerr.
The reason that we have got these levels of debt might be due to the nonsense that's spoken of by Kevin Stewart and other members on that side of the chamber when it comes to more and more spending, more and more borrowing, more and more tax. That's the only answer that the parties on the left have to the problems that we face as a country, both Scotland and the UK, as we can see from the travesty of financial and economic mismanagement that we're seeing from Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer. Well, there's many other things I'd like to say, but I do want to pay compliments, as is right and proper, to my colleague Ros McCall. She spoke as a compassionate Conservative. She spoke about the facts. There we go, we're back to facts again. I've reintroduced you all to facts. We heard them from Ros McCall. And she reminded us that the facts of economic life are conservative. And that's the baseline of what we're seeing in our motion. You can't run away from the realities. You might try and paint them a different colour, mainly yellow on this side, red on this side, but the reality is the reality. She spoke about knocking down the barriers that get in the way in terms of people getting back to work, and I compliment her on that speech. That was practical conservatism, spoke large in this chamber this afternoon, as it was the case with Liz Smith's speech, which I've already referenced, and she talked about a dangerous claim culture. If we are going to have a grown-up conversation about the state of the public finances, we need to address the issues that were rightfully and properly raised by Liz Smith in this debate. Now, I can see, sadly, I'm running out of time. I've got so much material, courtesy of everyone that spoke this afternoon, particularly from those benches. I do want to say, in all seriousness, Audit Scotland has repeatedly warned that runaway welfare costs, rising public sector pay and healthcare pressures are crowding out investment in education, policing and infrastructure. And these warnings are not political attacks. They are sober analysis from our independent auditors. And yet, instead of action from the Scottish Government, we get complacency. Let me conclude in the time that I have left. We are calling in this motion for honesty and action, not spin and distraction. Control welfare growth and move people from dependency to dignity through work, skills and opportunity. Message 1. Message 2. Invest in productivity to grow the tax base and drive economic growth. Message 3. Reform the public sectors. Don't tinker at the edges. Reform public services to cut waste, deliver value, end vanity projects. We've had a few, including
Mr. Kerr, you will need to now conclude.
Including these nonsense.
Mr. Kerr, you will now need to conclude.
Thank you. I do conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr.